Good day, everyone. This is Piney Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey, everybody. How's it going tonight?
Everything's going fine from this end. And how are things down in Ravenloft?
Not too bad.
Not too bad? No PCs came in to try to attack you?
Not lately.
Okay.
Soon, probably, but
soon,
not
inevitable, yes.
That's all right. Silly PCs.
Let's go and check to see about a small update from Severlin.
Yes, this kind of came out of nowhere. There was a post that went up today, just a player basically just lamenting about how much he's loved the game over the years and how he hopes that the game continues on with the announcement, of course, that we talked about last week with Turbine transitioning into the mobile free-to-play studio. And lo and behold, a little bit down in the thread, we got a post from our executive producer, Severlin, and we have not heard from him for quite a while. So people were beginning to wonder, why has he been so quiet? He had this to say in the thread: "Thanks for the good words about DDO. As we outlined in the producer's letter, we have some exciting plans for DDO, both in the near term and the longer term, with some expanded art capabilities and resources returning from helping out with the launch of BAU." And as a side note, BAU is Batman Arkham Underground, which is the new mobile free-to-play title that Turbine just launched last week, as a matter of fact. We should have some cool things coming up. Assault on the Slave Lords is looking good, and we are also fiercely working on the update to the Cadith crafting system. So it was good to see Sev back on the forums and giving us just a little update that, saying things are looking good, things are progressing well, so they're still on track. So that was good to see.
All right, then let's head into the DDO Chronicle, and we are up to issue 197. Wow, and what in the world is that?
That is the Tavern in the new No More Quest, Good Intentions.
It shows you how much I was paying attention to the landscape while I was doing that, while I was trying to keep from being killed by the furniture.
Well, yeah, there's that little slight detail in that quest. Yes. And I just thought of something. The Chronicle's on 197. They're going to hit 200 before we hit 100. I don't know why I just thought about that, but I did. I was hoping we would hit 100 before they would hit a milestone, but alas, it is not to be. In the community section of our Chronicle this week, Even Note is now live streaming every Sunday evening starting at 11 p.m. Eastern. So click over and check out her Twitch channel and give her a follow so you can be updated when she goes live. I have yet to watch any of her live streams live, actually, but I have watched, I went back and watched some of her replays, and it is a fun watch. Even does a good job with her streaming and playing, so highly recommend you giving her a follow. In the Fansite News section, DDO Cast is back with another spell selection episode. This time, DDO Cast is looking at clerics, favorite souls, and paladins. So click over and find out all the spells you need if you play those classes. DDO Gamer is delving into the proposed crafting changes, so click over and see what Jeff has to say about those over on DDO Gamer. And Ed Reek, over on his blog, is talking about the virtues of wands. And Bonnie Bew, who was a friend of the show and friend of Owlbears Everywhere, recently did a post up on her blog. That was a great post. I really enjoyed reading it. She was looking at some of the cosmetics that you cannot get in game anymore. And I have to say, there are some cosmetics that she has that she had put up on that post that I would really like. There are some really cool looking cosmetics. So go ahead and check that out and see what Bonnie Bew's been up to. Are we ready for our Chronicle comment of the week?
All right.
Halflings don't get mad, they blink.
Since I come from Lotro, the first thing I think of is get hungry.
Okay, makes sense.
Right.
Going with the Hobbit halfling, but okay.
Yeah,
okay.
With the Hobbit.
It works. I'm going to say halflings don't get mad, they bite your kneecaps.
Bite your kneecaps. Well, yeah, I suppose may do that.
Yeah, see, that works too. And finally, in our chronicle this week, the screenshot of the week is Acheron reads an old tome from the Forbidden Library in the 277th official DDO screenshot of the week. And that's a cool little shot of somebody reading a book in a really old library. So nice screenshot. Good job.
All right. Now, I have a question for you.
Okay, maybe we'll have an answer.
This is related to Enrique's blogs. Is how many wands do you normally use on a character?
Every once in a while, I will have my rogue use one because my rogue has really high UMD.
Right.
I usually don't play casters. The only caster I play is my warlock, and I don't play my pure warlock that much. I'm usually on my wolflock, and then I, of course, don't use any wands at all, so not very many.
All right. I was just wondering because I generally forget about those things also.
Yeah, I don't. I did there. Like I have some. Trying to think. Even the ones I have my rogue use every now and again.
Yeah. Now,
even then, it's not a lot because I'm not really. My rogue likes to like stab things more than like shoot things with a wand, but they are useful at times. I will give you that.
Yeah, it's usually when I'm thinking about wands. It's been when I'm on casting characters who have everlasting wands as their primary weapon.
Oh yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, the everlasting ones comes in very handy.
And I'm looking at this screenshot. It looks like somebody is hitting the books.
Yes, they are. They're learning, plainly.
They are learning, but it's forbidden knowledge, it looks like.
But reading is fundamental.
Reading is fundamental.
There's an 80s joke for you.
Yeah. Let's head into our store sales and anything interesting on sale this week.
We have 20% off character slots for all you alcoholics out there. Also, questing tools, healing items, spell point potions, and stat buff potions, all at 20% off in the DDO store. Our free sample of the week is what I call the Pine Leaf sample. It is a lasting potion of jumping plus 20. You will get 5 potions when you use the coupon code JUMP all day. 1 code per account. So, as always, choose wisely.
Now, I really should note that many of my more recent characters have had better jump values than my early ones.
Yes, I will agree with that. Not to spoil anything, but later on we are going to talk about a quest that we did this week, and I was highly impressed because you were actually jumping good.
I know. Shockers of shockers.
Exactly. I was like, what is going on? You actually can jump. I'm impressed.
Let's head into our site news, and we will begin with our DDO Players screenshot of the week at number 53. And anything interesting in this shot? It looks dark to me.
It's very dark because it's in the Underdark. See what I did there?
Ooh.
Yes, this is just overlooking a waterfall and a fortress in the nasty, nasty Underdark. If you have a screenshot you would like to see, and this is my screenshot, by the way, that is on my Ranger. So if you want to see your screenshot featured on the site, you can send that to podcast@ddoplayers.com, and we will put your screenshot up on our site for the world to see.
Then let's see what is coming in from the dungeon, where Neverwinter PlayStation 4 version. Head Start begins. It's a preschool to get people learning quickly.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago that Neverwinter was going to launch on the PS4, and that time has come if you take part in the Head Start. And to do that, all you need to do is purchase the Onyx Head Start pack, which will run you $19.99, but you do get some goodies with that, and we did talk about this. I think it was last week we talked about this, but it is live, running now on the PS4, and it's looking pretty good. And once again, I have to stress, the greatest thing about this is you do not need a PSN account to play. Anybody can, or PSN Plus, I should say. Anybody that has a PS4 can just jump in and play this. You do not have to have the PlayStation Plus, which most of your games anymore require that extra subscription. So good on Cryptic for not needing that. But so far, the reviews have been pretty good. We actually were sent a code to check it out, but unfortunately they didn't send a PS4 to go along with it, so I can't check it out. So if anybody wants to send me a PS4, I'd be more than happy to check this out and review it for the site. Just saying.
All right. Now, Drac, I've heard a rumor that you are going to be at Gen Con this year.
That is correct.
And are you planning on attending the Critical Role event?
It depends which event you're talking about.
Okay.
The question and answer panel, yes, I am.
Okay.
And I'm in the process now of seeing if we can actually release that.
Ooh.
So hopefully I'll be able to record that and we'll be able to release it so everybody can enjoy it.
All right. But I was, of course, asking about the next time, the Critical Role Live event.
I would love to see the folks from Critical Role do their thing live. I really would. But the $60 ticket price...
Yeah, that did seem like a...
Or the $200 VIP ticket price is kind of holding me back a little bit.
A little bit.
But yes, this is going to happen during Gen Con, actually. And this is not a Gen Con event, so you do not need a Gen Con badge to go to this. This is off-site of Gen Con. It's actually about a block and a half from the convention center. So if you are attending Gen Con, this will be an easy walk to get to. But once again, a Gen Con badge is not required to this. What this is going to be is Critical Role is going to bring their campaign live, and you can see them play. And if you're not familiar with what Critical Role is, that is the insanely popular Geek and Sundry Dungeons & Dragons show where Matt Mercer, of course, is the DM, and he is joined by his band of friends, and it's been a long-standing campaign they've been running. It's a great show. It's highly entertaining. Matt Mercer does a great job, but man, $60 for a ticket, I don't know about that.
All right. So therefore, despite the picture that they show here, it's not a LARP?
It is not a LARP, no.
Okay.
It is, yeah, no, that's just the only picture I could find that had the whole cast.
Okay.
No, if you've ever watched, it's really similar to how they did Titan's Grave, except they're not sitting around on couches or whatever. They usually have the groups separated on the screen. There's like 4 of them in one shot and 4 of them in another shot, and they're just sitting at a table, and then Matt Mercer's usually in the middle. So it's basically just them playing D&D.
All right.
Not at all, but yes, it is happening if you happen to be in the Indianapolis area and have $60, because from what I hear, the VIP $200 ticket is now sold out, but they still have the general admission $60 tickets left. This is happening August 6th at the Hilbert Circle Theater. That is in Indianapolis. And once again, that is just a few blocks from the convention center. Not a Gen Con official event, so you do not need a Gen Con badge to attend. Just $60 is all you need.
Well, then let's head into our next story, where apparently there's going to be a computer version of Tunnels and Trolls.
How awesome news is this? Okay, now please tell me you know what Tunnels and Trolls is, and please tell me you played Tunnels and Trolls.
Well, I do have 2 of the editions.
Okay, that's good. That is
okay. I have the one that you picture on this picture here, which was about was that 4th, 5th edition or whatever?
I think that's 5th edition, maybe.
That's 5th edition. There was no 6th edition, but I do have the 7th edition also.
So yes, Tunnels and Trolls is making its move to digital. And how this is going to happen, there is a new company out called Meta Arcade. And they are going to be bringing the solo adventure that was entitled Naked Doom. That is the first Tunnels and Trolls adventure that is going to be coming out for this Meta Arcade. And how they describe the Meta Arcade is they are saying it will allow people to create games like WordPress allows people to create a blog. With this platform, you can easily create a game just by typing in some information right now. We don't know a lot about it because they're not really saying a lot about it. And then the game itself will render everything that you need, and it will be in a choose-your-own-adventure style. So if you kind of remember those choose-your-own-adventure books, it's kind of like that. What they had said is like on one side of the screen is going to be, the text and tell you what's going to happen, and then the other side of the screen, it's going to be your choices.
Well, I would think that's more exactly in the style of a Tunnels and Trolls solo adventure.
Yes, and then this, of course, will be just like Tunnels and Trolls. And the first opportunity anybody is going to get to see this will, of course, surprise, surprise, be at Gen Con.
Be at Gen Con. And that means you could be the first to get completely stomped upon, because by times in doing the solitaire adventures for Tunnels and Trolls has usually been to be slapped in the face. You take one wrong turn and they really punish you.
Yeah, Tunnels and Trolls was not a very friendly game, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you choose the wrong path, you were screwed.
Yeah, you get... And one time, then, because some people had been complaining about how hard some of their adventures are, because, one sometimes reasonable choice on the surface of it, and even if you look at it afterwards, you say, yeah, it would be a reasonable choice. Yeah, you taking the wrong reasonable choice can send you into instant death virtually. Okay, you have to make a saving throw that, I'm sorry, how are we expected to make that saving throw with a beginning character?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, that's I have yet to get successfully all the way through one of those solo adventures. That is my record on that matter. So,
and if you are interested in this in the least bit, I have set up an appointment with them at Gen Con to actually demo this, and I am going to get to talk to the folks from Meta Arcade. Also, Ken St. Andre, who, of course, is the creator of Tunnels and Trolls, and also Rick Loomis from Flying Buffalo Incorporated, who, of course, is the game publisher of Tunnels and Trolls. So I will be talking to all of those, checking out the Meta Arcade, checking out this adventure. So look for our Gen Con coverage to start August 4th. And you'll be seeing more about this. Oh, and the other thing I should state about this, too, is they're using the Unity engine for this. So that means this will run on iOS, Android, PC, and Mac. So that's kind of cool, too. That it's going to be, so pretty much any device you have, you should be able to run this Meta Arcade because of the Unity engine that they're using.
All right. I'm trying to think, perhaps you might know a little thing or two about RPG history that I don't. I'm wondering is... Outside of Dungeons & Dragons, which of course was the first RPG, was there anything between D&D and Tunnels and Trolls?
Nope, it was the second one.
It was the second. Yeah, I thought I heard the claim one, but I wasn't completely sure if some because all the other ones I could think of, I think, were a couple of years later.
Yep.
So then let's head into Fourth Grade Giant Hunters, Episode 1. And I presume that means that they're hunting giants?
They are hunting giants. We told you about this. It's been about a month since we talked about this. This is the new show that is coming to us from the Nerdist channel. And this, of course, is based on Storm King's Thunder, the new storyline that is going to be coming to D&D. It is written by Matt Mercer, who is also our DM of Critical Role fame. Joining him are Chris Hardwig, who is, when this episode started, I just cracked up laughing when he said what his character name was. His character name is Will Wheaton. He is playing a sun elf wizard. Ashley Johnson is Dagny Holliver, who is the half-orc cleric. Shelby Farrow, is Kataya Horn, who is a dwarf fighter, which she really plays a dwarf well. Just watch the show and you'll know what I mean by that. Jonah Ray is playing Jopa, who is a human monk, and Urshke Ambagdark, I'm sure I just totally botched his name, I apologize for that, is playing Hitch, who is a human rogue, and he plays a rogue really well too. And you might have remembered when we talked about this the first time, there is also a comedian, Brian Posehn, that is playing too. But if you watched the prologue episode to this, his character kind of disappeared, and he's not here during the first episode. So we're assuming he's going to pop up eventually. But this is done very much like Titan's Grave. It's modeled after Titan's Grave, I think, because they're all sitting around a couch. It had a very Titan's Grave feel to it, if that makes sense, even though it's D&D. Just the way they presented the show to me reminded me of Titan's Grave.
Okay. Now, what do they mean by explicit content?
If you have a problem with language and adult humor, skip the show.
Okay, I will take that in mind.
It's done in a way that I would say what happens around a table when people are playing D&D, at least with my group of friends. This was nothing for me to watch because this was actually tame compared to what happens when I play. But
you must have a wild party because...
Oh, you don't even know the half of it.
Okay.
But yeah, and I just wanted to put that on there because I know some people do have a problem with that. And there was some little like sexual innuendo jokes that were told, and there was some pretty much sharp link. There was a bunch of F-bombs. So
it sounds a bit strong for me then.
If you have a problem with that, you're warned. But
okay,
it's a really good show, done really well. Just wanted to throw that advisory out there. So yes, the second episode of this will be out next week. And another great thing about this show is the episodes run about 30 minutes long. So they're good, nice bite sides. You can watch them, get in, get out. It's good. Great show. Force Grey Giant Hunters.
And now we will manage in our title to have not one, but 2 colons.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Magic the Gathering, Plane Shift, Innistrad. What does that mean, that we're going inside of Strahd?
In a way, yes. In a weird way, yes. Yeah, we told you a while back that Magic the Gathering, of course, released the plane ship Zendrik for D&D 5e. That was on the Zendrik world. Well, now Wizards has had it again. This time they're bringing Innistrad to D&D 5e, and Innistrad is written by James Wyatt, who right there should be, that name alone, you should be downloading this while I'm talking about it, because James Wyatt does awesome stuff. But this is a dark and creepy realm. You will find vampires, werewolves, shadows, and dark mysteries abound.
So I presume that this one specializes in black magic?
Yes, there is some evil magic abound as well.
Yes.
So you could take this and import your Curse of Strahd characters and move them, like maybe once they get done in Barovia and Ravenloft, they'll find themselves in Innistrad. You could do that real easy, and they probably wouldn't know they left Ravenloft because it's modeled very much after Ravenloft and Barovia. Okay,
now concerning this, I presume then by giving these names, all this stuff, these are well-known plane shifters?
Yes, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, all this stuff, you will know what this is if you know the lore.
Well, I guess because the lore I know is pre-5th edition, and this sounds like post-5th edition lore.
Yeah, I think Innistrad was brought into Magic the Gathering, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that. I'm not a big Magic person, so I don't know that much. I mean, I do kind of keep track of it just to see what's going on, and in case anybody asks me any questions about it, I can kind of sound like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, to me, the first planeswalker I could think of is Urza. That's how far I go back.
And this, of course, like the previous one, is a free PDF that you can download. We have a link to it in the article over on DDO Plavers. So if you want to bring a little Magic the Gathering into your 5e, now you can do it in the dark and creepy gothic realm of Innistrad.
Ooh. Then let's head into see what's on the tabletop. And DDO Players Dastardly Dirigibles by Fireside Games Review. You are looking at Dastardly Dirigibles.
I am. I told you last week that we were going to review this, and the review is now up on the site. This, of course, is the new steampunk airship building game by Fireside Games. And we did talk about this last week because we announced that it was now available. Just to remind you, Professor Phineas Edmund Hornswoggle, he is known for building the highest highest quality airships. He has announced his retirement. So one of the greatest airship engineers in the kingdom, you have gathered at the Hornswoggle factory in a competition. You are trying to build the best airships you can and become the successor to the Hornswoggle Empire.
Ooh.
And how you do that, you have 3 rounds to build your airship. And each round, you will play the round. Once it's over, you tally up your score. Then you do another round until you get 3 rounds in. And then the player that has the most points at the end of the 3rd round is the winner. It's a really fun game. It plays pretty fast after you get the hang of it. The rules are fairly simple. It's got some really nice mechanics to it. And it has what I always like to refer to as the screw-over mechanics. What happens is you draw your cards, and then the player that plays first can take up to 3 actions. So you can either discard a card, draw a card, or take a card from the Emporium and swap it out with the card that's in your hand, or of course you can play a airship part. And the interesting mechanic the game has, let's say I play a gondola front on my airship. Everybody else that's playing, if they have a gondola front in their hand, they have to play that as well. And if they already have a gondola front on their ship, they have to replace that part with a part from their hand. Ergo, your screw-over mechanic.
Uh-huh.
And to get the most points, the cards are in suits. And the suits are like, there's wrenches, there's top hats. So it's all got a very steampunk feel to it. And you can get more points by having your airship parts being of the same suit. So that's where you can really like screw over the other players. Because if you see, okay, they have, let's say they have a lift engine, a gondola front, and a gondola rear that are all the wrenches, those are going to be 2 points apiece for them if that is the suit that they're using the most. So you will maybe want to play like a gondola rear, and then they would have to replace their rear with another card from their hand if they have it. And then, of course, there's also special action cards that will allow you to steal a part off their airship, make them just destroy a part off their airship. So it's a fun game. It plays really fast. My only complaint about the game is the game boards that they used, which is your ship blueprint. The way they printed them out, they don't lay flat. They kind of stick up a little bit, and the cards slide off of them easy. That was my biggest complaint about it. And I don't know if that's just because it's new, and maybe, they haven't been, right now they've been folded in the box a lot. So maybe after they're, played on, they'll lay more flat a little bit. So just keep that in mind. But it's a really fun game, and I would recommend, it plays between 2 and 5. I would recommend playing it with more than 2 players. It's not bad with 2 players, but I can see with 4 or 5 people it would be a lot better, because then you would really be being cutthroat against each other more than what you really can be with just 2 people. But that's about any game that's that's like that, though. It's not just this one. But this is out now, so check it out, especially if you like airships, you like steampunk, or you just like fast, fun games that are easy to play.
Then let's go to let's say a scarier theme, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's because Cryptozoic Entertainment is bringing out a board game version of The Walking Dead, No Sanctuary.
And this is based off of the AMC show. We did tell you about another Kickstarter for The Walking Dead that was not based off the show, but based off the comic book. This is officially licensed and based off the show, so you will see characters from the show. You will see the actors on the cards. You will feel like you're in the show.
Now, I notice here that some of these pictures look familiar, as if they were... I remember there being an episodic video version.
The Telltale game, yep.
Yeah, the Telltale game. And I guess that was also licensed on the show?
Correct. Yes, that did use some characters from the show as well. So it was a totally different story than the show, but there was characters from the show in the video game. But this is directly licensed from the show. It is running on Kickstarter now. You have 14 days to jump in on this. And we were talking before the show started, during pre-show, that I was really shocked this didn't automatically kickstart, like, immediately, like most of the Cryptozoic games do, because the last 2 Ghostbusters games, I think they funded within like 2 hours maybe, and the Turtle game was somewhere around on that too, but this has been up for a while and still hasn't funded.
Now, what's your definition for a while? Because I can never figure out when a Kickstarter had started. I never see the date on there.
This started last Thursday. That's when I got the press release.
Last Thursday, so that's about 4 days then.
Yes, I was going to say, this has been up for about 4 days. You got 14 days left to go. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked this hasn't funded yet, but it's got...
it's 90% of the way there.
Yeah, they are a lot closer than they were. When I first posted this, of course I posted this within, I think the Kickstarter had only been up for maybe about an hour when I did this post, because I had got the press release from Cryptozoic, and they emailed me back, and they're like, wow, that was like the first post up for this Kickstarter. You're amazing. And I'm like, timing is everything. But the game is going to have 74 minis included with it and map tiles. The price tag will reflect that, of course. There is what they're calling the survivor tier, which is just going to be the bare bones copy of the game with no miniatures. That is $40 to get in on the Kickstarter. If you want the full kit and caboodle with all the minis and everything included, that's going to run you $125.
And one thing though that might help with their numbers is I see that just a couple hours ago, Rado posted his walkthrough, his playthrough on Walking Dead No Sanctuaries, and I'm sure there are a number of people who first hear about these things through there.
Probably. That should help. I bet they'll fund here pretty quick then. So yes, but right. If you want to get on it, you got 14 days.
Okay. Well, I will bookmark the Rado run-through thing since I usually watch his stuff, so... Now let's head into Big Trouble in Little China, the game.
Which, of course, is another movie you have never seen. Nobody's shocked by this. Not one person in our audience is saying, I bet you Pine Leaf has watched that movie. Just saying. Yes, Big Trouble in Little China is coming to tabletops everywhere by Boom Studios. They are going to partner with Everything Epic, Flipside Design Studio, and of course 20th Century Fox Consumer Products to produce Big Trouble in Little China the game. It's going to be a fully cooperative cinematic game. Up to 6 players will be able to play as Jack Burton and his brave friends as they venture on a mysterious quest to rescue the Green-Eyed Beauty. You will defeat Lopen's ancient magic and save Chinatown from all of his evil minions, just like you would in the movie. Which Pine Leaf has no idea what we're talking about, but that's all right. And of course, like any good game, you're going to find rare magics and rare weapons to help you along your quest.
Oh, of course.
That is all we know about the game right now. Not much is known. Release is planned for 2017. They said probably late summer, early fall 2017.
Okay.
But we will keep you updated when we get more information. But Big Trouble in Little China coming soon-ish. TM.
Very well. Then let's have out taking a little casual stroll to Mordor then.
We can do that. I don't know about a casual stroll because you like have orcs, you have wraiths, you know.
They do.
You have Nazgul, you know. But yeah, if you want to walk to Mordor, I mean, who doesn't at this point? And if you can't get enough of Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth, and little hobbit guys with hairy feet, Fantasy Flight Games is going to hook you up. They are going to bring out Lord of the Rings, A Journey to Mordor. This is going to be a dice-rolling press your luck style game.
Aha.
You are going to assume the roles of the 4 famous hobbits, and you are trying to race towards Mount Doom to destroy the One Ring before the Nazgul reaches Mount Doom first. If the Nazgul gets there, you lose. The game is using, as I said, a dice mechanic with 5 custom dice, and it is basically a pressure luck. So if you want to move another step, you roll, and then you may or may not be successful, or you may get a Nazgul. Every time you get a Nazgul dice, the Nazgul moves. So you kind of have to balance, is it worth, do I want to try to move forward more, or do I want to wait my turn, or whatever. So yes. But it is fully cooperative, though, it said. So even though you're playing with 4 other people, you're not trying to, hinder our help. I guess you're trying to help them, but you're not trying to hinder the other players. You're all trying to get to Mount Doom first.
So let's see. So all you have in there are 5 dice. That's the main component here, then?
Yep, it's got 5 dice and a dice board, which I now have a picture of that I can edit this post and post. At the time I posted this, I did not have anything, but Fantasy Flight did send me some nice press assets, and I did get a nice shot of the game board I can put up.
All right, because the price tag looked a little low for Fantasy Flight's usual. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That was the other thing I was going to bring up. It's the MSRP on this is going to be $12.95. Which, as you said, for a Fantasy Flight game, people are saying, what?
What?
Yeah. And it's 2 to 4 players, and they're saying ages 14 and up. I'm sure younger kids could probably play this. Because from what I'm seeing of it, it's not that hard.
I have a feeling it's not. Is that I think that usually the Lord of the Rings stuff tends to be rated around the teen lines, and so I have a feeling that might be the reason for the 14.
So look for this later this year. Or, as I said, $12.95, which is crazy for a Fantasy Flight game. That should make you want to buy it. It's like, Fantasy Flight game, $13, I'm in. Take my money. Shut up and take my money.
All right, and fully cooperative, then I guess you could play 2 hobbits and play it with 1 player then.
Yep, and that's funny you say that, because as I was typing up that story for DDO Players, I thought Pineleaf is going to buy this and he's going to play 2 hobbits, so he can. That's the first thing I thought when I was typing that up.
All right, let's head into our week in gaming. And Jirak, what have you been up to?
I spent some time in the Underdark.
In the Underdark? That sounds like a nice, bright place to be.
Just kind of hanging out with my drow peeps who were trying to kill me. They apparently forgot I was a drow as well.
Well, yes, but they'll probably think that you're one of those people who are working with a certain exile.
Well, I didn't think about that, but that could be, yeah. So what I did is my ranger, who is at level 20 right now, I was doing King Forest Slayers and trying to find all the little, not explorer points, but the little diary pieces you're trying to find out there. And as I was running around out there, I found the entrance to the Underdark. And I thought, you know what? I have never actually been in the Underdark other than we did do the quest where if you do the quest over in the harbor, then it eventually takes you through the Underdark and then you come out in Evening Star. We did do that, so I was in the Underdark a little bit, but not a lot. So I decided, yeah, why not? Let's go in the Underdark. So I was doing Slayers, Explorers. And then as I was killing things down there, I found the entrance to, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, but I say Schinderlin is how I pronounce it. I'm probably wrong, but I'm going with it because I like that pronounce of it. So once again, I did Slayers and Explorer in there as well. So that's what my ranger's been doing, and I need to go pick up the quest because I noticed in Schinderlin there is a bunch of quests that you can run. Because I found the points to them, but then I tried to go in and they're like, you do not have the quest. You cannot enter. And I'm like, well, fine. Whatever. Yeah.
What is the level for the Underdark?
22.
22. It'll be a while before I get there.
Well, you got your Artificer we could technically run if you wanted to. Because your Artie is 20. Because I'm running it at 20 and not having too many problems.
Okay.
So, something to consider. And then the only thing I did in game is my level 7 Ranger, which is part of the Gnome group. I had some solo homework to do. We had to get from level 7 to level 9 before we meet again, which shall be this week. So I did that. What I did is I ran the Seal of Shantikor on Elite, and that was enough from what I did last week with my little Gnome Ranger to get me from 7 to 9. So I am now level 9, waiting to play. And what I think we're going to do this week is we're going to do the other quest in Delaras, because we decided we weren't quite high enough to do that quest on Elite at level 7. So that is really all I did in game. I did play DDO a lot this week. I did do some board games, of course, though. Did Champions of the Galaxy, which, of course, is the dice-rolling wrestling game that we reviewed a long time ago, actually. I think that was one of the first reviews we've done. Had a friend over, and I had never actually played that with anybody else. I've always played it solo. So we decided to play that. So we played that for a little bit. And then he brought over a game called Titan Race, which was pretty fun once we got the mechanics of it. You're basically racing Titans around a track, and you have 4 laps. And, of course, the first person to get all 4 laps is the winner. But you can, of course, screw over the other person. And then if 2 Titans go into the same spot, the Titan that moves into that spot will bump the Titan out. He'll take some damage, and he could actually go off the board and come around and get a lap by doing that. So you kind of have to think, do I really want to bump into him? Because that's going to give him a lap. He will take a damage, and so on and so forth. So that was a really fun game. I enjoyed it a lot. And then he wanted to play Dastardly Dirigibles because he read the review and said, that sounds like a fun game. I want to check that out. So we played that, I think, 3 or 4 times. So really fun game. I like that. And then I did do some digital board games. Same person, him and I, played Boss Monster over Steam, of course, with the Steam version of Boss Monster. And then I played Ticket to Ride on Steam. And then on my iPad, I played some more of the Pathfinder Adventure card game, which I haven't played for quite a while since I got it. So I just ran the main quest again, the main adventure. Still trying to get gold. I almost have enough gold now to unlock another adventure pack. So my goal is to try to never, ever spend money in that game and do everything just by grinding. So we'll see how well that goes.
We'll see.
Because I think at some point I'm going to go, screw it. I'll just shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. How about you, Pineley? What were you up to?
All right, we'll begin with our gnomes, level 8 gnomes, my warlock and your rogue, where we went to House K and ran the caverns of Koromar. After that, we returned to the Vaults of Night and ran Haywire Foundry, which went much better than it did when we last had done it back on our previous characters that we were running.
And that's where I kind of hinted at the beginning of the show. You actually jumped. I was impressed.
Well, yes. Good thing I did also, because I think my lack of jumping skills is what got us killed last time.
Yep, it was. So, yeah, we actually survived it and got out and finished it. So,
yay!
It was fun. I kind of dislike that quest, but once I'm doing it, I'm like, this quest isn't that bad.
Until you get to the end and you're going frantically and you can't jump up especially it's the first time you're doing it and you have no idea how to get out of there.
So, so we're now flagged. Well, actually, we're almost flagged. We've got the quest done. We have to do the pre-raid of the raid, which you conveniently told me, okay, I'm done now. I'm never going to do these, so what's next?
Yeah.
So I'm like, then why did we do all these bonds then, other than their great experience? So much experience.
XP and
great
quest done.
So I have no idea what we're going to do now since we got Bond out of the way. What?
Let's see. I think I heard somebody... I can't remember if it was you or some other place where I heard of a quest around our level range that sounded interesting. I can't remember what it was. All right, let's then look at what my Wolflock did. My Wolflock is Druid 2, Warlock 1, and in the Cerulean Hills, I ran Where There's Smoke and the Captain. And while doing Where There's Smoke, this is the first time that I did not use the hams in order to do the dogs. Instead, I used diplomacy all the way through.
Really? I don't think I've ever done that. I've just always used
Well, let's face it. Diplomacy with a druid.
Well, yeah. That makes total sense.
That's the reason why I decided to try it. I had a pretty good diplomacy score. I figured that diplomacy score had to be good for something. So therefore, I decided to try to use my diplomacy and see if I could tame the dogs that way. And it did work on all 3 occasions. So yay! I didn't have to worry about that then. And then, of course, the captives, which is done the usual way. Then on the harbor, I did protect Baldry's interests, then ran the butcher's path. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to go through various quests in the area where my cleric will be handy. And then I'm going to go back because the second part of after protect Baldry's interests, I figured, no, I didn't want to go in there when I still have a timer ticking on my cleric. So I figured I'd use the cleric on some other adventures. Then I'll come back to the ones which are best done solo. Then my monk, the one that used to be the 20th level artificer you talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. You no longer have a level 20. I
no longer have a level 20 artificer, right. So therefore in Korthos Village, I ran the Canaan's Crystal, storehouse, the usual things in Korthos Village. And then I went on to Korthos Island, where I was doing some landscape things, and then stopping the Sahawajin.
Oh, Pine Leaf, you said it. You know the new rule. That is our rule. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't. I
even went on my way to pronounce it in his version of the name.
This is a dwarven translation of an Elvish word, so it is pronounced Sawajin.
Still funny. I don't care what anybody says.
And then on the tabletop, today I received a game called Space Pioneers, which is by a German designer. At least that's what it looks like. So that's the game was shipped from Germany, and I noticed that the rules, it has two sides to it. On one side, the rules are in German, and on the other side, they're in English. So everything.
That would be a dead giveaway.
Yes, a dead giveaway. That was probably from Germany because it was that, or they were trying to impress the panel for next year's Spiel Awards, or
that could be too.
And then also in Minecraft, I joined a multiplayer server and got into the server, and I pretty quickly got lost.
Why does that not shock me?
Yes, so I get onto the server and I try to, now how do I find, because we have our spawn area, but our spawn village was nowhere near the spawn area, and I just could not find. Eventually, in fact, I wandered about and wound up going through a portal that wound up dumping me into a village, and I wandered next to a spruce village. And one thing about Minecraft is I am a sucker for spruce through taigas, spruce forest. So I just went through the other end of the forest. I was planning on putting up my base there. I was all getting ready to set up my base there. Then I found out that we had a Discord server, and set up on the Discord server, and there I found out that the area I was in, I couldn't put a base at because it was like right too close to two other bases that are in the areas. So I wound up looked at the map that we're using, and I went way, way south where nobody else was, and I eventually found a nice river valley, which had spruce forest on one side. Remember, in fact, not only the spruce, but a giant spruce forest. So this is a 10 times better area. It has from the mouth of the river down in for quite a number of blocks down. So I have this river valley claimed, and that's where I'm going to set up my base for this area. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to be calling it the Pine River Valley.
Of course you are. Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't I? We currently have 27 supporters on Patreon, and if you'd like to support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or you can be a guest with us here on DDO Players News. You can help support us, help grade our cameras so that we could bring you better convention and tabletop play review coverage. We did not have any iTunes reviews, but we love your support. But we do have a comment from Mock Taskmaster. What did he say?
He says, Cards Against Humanity folks are doing a big concert on Friday, and now this. Gen Con is turning into more and more of a production, kind of like San Diego Comic-Con, then a game convention, ... and these prices are proof of it. I agree, sir. I agree.
All right. Cards of Humanity concert?
Yeah, they do every year. Well, I guess I can't say every year. This is the second year they've done it. They do a comedy concert that and those tickets, I want to say, are like in the $70 to $100 range, I want to say.
I would have to say this, but if it's related to Cards Against Humanity, I'm not too sure I would go to it.
Well, no, you wouldn't. But the reason why everybody goes to that is part of what you get with your ticket, besides seeing the comedy show, is you leave with a Cards Against Humanity swag bag. And I guess they put some amazing things in that bag. So, but he is right. Gen Con is starting to do a lot of like these little concerts and these other little things that are costing Comic-Con type money. So our little Gen Con is not the little convention that it used to be.
Well, seeing that it hasn't been little since it moved out of Lake Geneva.
Well, true. Just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yes. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculetta @Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles. You could also join our Steam group. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News every other Thursday at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have XP Quest is back on here.
It is. XP Quest is back. We have 2 episodes. They did a Fallout 4 episode and a Pokemon Go episode.
Okay. So I guess it's 5 live shows now.
So XP Quest is back.
Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. time, we have Locha Players News. Every other Saturday after Locha Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. And on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. time, we have Locha Academy After School. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.